Hi everybody, General Washington here, and just wanted to pick up where I left off and where Mark left off. We were in Philadelphia, and before that we had the Battle of Germantown and the Battle of Brandywine, and just wanted to talk very briefly about those. I want to talk about Philadelphia. Why Philadelphia? Why did the Continental Congress pick Philadelphia to make as its headquarters and meeting place? Well, it's almost central, a little further north than for the South Carolina delegation, but they made it just fine. Philadelphia was the largest city in the 13 colonies at the time, and it was the most diverse city. Philadelphia had people from all over the world living in it. And it had a very good formed government, and it had a good place for us to meet. The Second Continental Congress met in the Pennsylvania State House, which is now called Independence Hall. It was originally built in the 1750s as the state capitol, and it had everything that we needed. So Philadelphia was kind of the logical place. Independence Hall is a wonderful place to visit. I have been there myself, and you can see the actual hall where all the delegates met, where they made decisions, where the Declaration of Independence was ratified and signed. I think somewheres around here I have a picture of the hall, and it was in this exact hall that all of these actions took place, and where the Declaration of Independence was signed on the 4th and read aloud on the steps on the 8th. And On the 8th, the bells in the town or the city of Philadelphia were ringing because it was announcing that we had declared our independence from Great Britain, and a gentleman was going to read it. It's doubtful. Some people say the Liberty Bell was ringing, but it's very doubtful because the Liberty Bell, the steeple for the State House was being repaired, and the bell was probably removed. It was removed in 1777 because that's when I was fighting the British. They were coming, and we feared that they would take it and use it for cannons. So we hid it in a church in a town, Allentown, Pennsylvania, which is further north in Pennsylvania. So we didn't want the British to get it. And the Liberty Bell has a great history in and of itself, and maybe someday Mark will talk about that. But for right now, Philadelphia, the Liberty Bell is back there now. It's a wonderful place to go and visit. If you've been there, please send me a message. Get me somehow. Tell me how you liked it, and would love to exchange information. I found it to be very hospitable, and so now let's we didn't do very well the last two battles before the British took over Philadelphia. They showed us what they were made of, and I made a couple mistakes, but the troops overall were encouraged because finally for once we were taking the aggressive side. We were attacking the Germans. We were attacking the British. In both battles, we did some attacking, and they liked that. So it kind of, instead of constantly hitting and defending ourselves and running away, we were on the offensive, and it gave them a new spirit. And it also showed the British that it wasn't going to be easy to beat us. And so we made off and eventually went to Valley Forge. General Howe and General Clinton went into Philadelphia. They were promised a big hospitable place. A lot of the loyalists were there. A lot of the patriots left. Half the population of Philadelphia left the city in protest because they were patriots and they didn't want to be under British rule. So uh, what Philadelphia did, I guess you have to have the history. General Howe was supposed to, when he was in New York, he was supposed to leave New York and go up the Hudson River to Saratoga and meet up with General Burgoyne, who Mark has told you about at the Battle of Saratoga. General Burgoyne lost to Benedict Arnold. And so uh, Howe and Burgoyne didn't get along. And so Howe devised this plan of going to Philadelphia and kind of left Burgoyne on his own without enough men. And it was the defeat at Saratoga that got the French involved into the war on our side, which was a fantastic thing. So Howe comes to Philadelphia. He takes it in September of 1777, and I take the troops and we go up to Valley Forge, and it was a hard winter, but we got through it, and the troops got to train some more, and food for Howe, food and supplies and stuff were very difficult to come by. Howe didn't think that the British in England or the New Yorkers supported him well enough for the Philadelphia campaign, and he resigns his commission and goes back to England. Uh, Devastating, because Howe was the man, and he and his brother, both Admiral Howe, they felt their reputations were being tarnished, and so they left Philadelphia. Uh, General Howe submitted his letter in October of 77, and it was accepted, and he was directed to come home in March or April of 78. This was a big boost for us because it seemed like General Howe was always one-upping us, and he had a better tactical mind than I did. So now I'm going up against General Clinton, who is pretty good, but he doesn't have Howe's talent. So the significance of our two losses, although we lost, we showed that we could fight, and it really turned the mindset of the politicians in Parliament that they didn't think Howe was the guy to do the job. So the significance of him being in Philadelphia was twofold. One, they questioned whether or not he was the man to beat the American army, and two, he didn't add the support that was needed to General Burgoyne, and so Burgoyne had to surrender, which brought the French in on our side. And so that was the significance of this whole Philadelphia campaign. And the British only lasted in Philadelphia about 9 months. And then we started chasing them. They started going back to New York. We started chasing them coming out of Valley Forge. And maybe I'll come back and talk to you about that. We had one really nice battle in June. It was a good battle. I loved it. I was right up front, so that's why I really liked it. So if you got anything you want to know about, contact Mark. I'm back on the road again, off to Newport tomorrow, but I might be back in a couple of weeks. So hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Thanks.